I have not gone live in a very long time on here, and I don't know why I don't do it. I mean, I don't like going live in the first place. But anyway, hey people. So I know you're gonna come on later. My name is Crystal. I'm a movement specialist. I teach people how to move with less pain and more purpose. I'm looking for my PowerPoint because I have something to talk about real quick. Um, I was trying to make a short, and I'm like, nope. I'm just gonna have to have this conversation um, to teach people because it's a lot of information. So we're talking about rest today. Sorry, my chair makes noise. If you watch this video, you just help me buy another chair. So there's that. Um, so a lot of people don't get the type of rest that they need. And there are several different types of rest. It's not just sleeping, it's rest in general. So I'm going to pull that up in a minute. But why is sleep so important? So sleep, physical rest, which is sleep, is important because it regulates your blood sugar levels. So when you miss sleep, it raises your blood sugar levels to almost the same level as somebody who's a type 2 diabetic. Did I introduce myself? I think I introduced. Okay. Anyway, I have not gone live in a long time. Leave me alone. So it raises your blood sugar levels to the same level as somebody who's a type 2 diabetic. That's just one area that it impacts. If you miss sleep, especially if you're only sleeping 3, 4, 5 hours a night, then it could raise it, not raise because you're not drinking, but it can cause you to be at the same intoxication level as somebody who's had alcohol. So it could either be between a 0.05 and a 0.1. So what's the difference? A 0.05 blood alcohol level means that you are impaired. So if you got pulled over by the police, they would handcuff you and put you in jail. If you are at a blood alcohol level of 0.1, that means you are legally intoxicated. Like, let that sink in. You are legally intoxicated at a 0.1 blood alcohol level. And what happens is when we don't get the sleep that we need, it causes us to be, or causes our brains to be that impacted to where we're actually walking around like we have a blood alcohol level of 0.1 where we are legally intoxicated. Now that's crazy, but it doesn't talk about the other types of rest. So one type of rest is physical rest, like I just mentioned. So sleeping is physical rest. We need sleep. I used to want to stay up when I was younger. I thought flex. I thought that was the coolest thing ever because my bedtime, I think at the time was like 8:30, 9 o'clock, something like that, super early. My mama was a single mother. Okay. Like, God bless her. God bless her. Okay. She's a single mother of twins. So I thought staying up was the coolest thing ever. My aunts were staying up, my uncles were staying up because we lived in the house at the same time. They were staying up. I wanted to stay up. Staying up is not a flex. Okay, as I talked about, it does impact your health in greater ways. Growth hormones are released at night when you are sleeping. Your body gets repaired from the day while you are sleeping. Your brain gets a rest, and you get your brain. What's that called? It's not a lymphatic. The glymphatic system. Your glymphatic system means your brain is getting cleared out while you are sleeping. So sleep is entirely important. Now that's physical rest. Another type of rest is mental rest. What does that look like? That means breaks from thinking. That means breaks from decision making, planning, and multitasking. So for me, I'm a single parent. I have a young, not a young, he's like 13 now, 13-year-old boy. I told him the other day, you figure it out. Like I was just done making decisions. I don't want to make decisions. I don't want to think about stuff. Sometimes I want to just show up and just experience it. I don't want to think about it. I've done a lot of planning. I've done a lot of facilitating. I've done a lot of coaching. I just want to show up. And again, because I'm a single parent, I don't always get that luxury. So every now and then I take a break. When he's not with me, I will take a break. I will just do nothing and just get that type of rest. That's called mental rest. Without mental rest, you will have thoughts that race. You'll be mentally scattered. You'll be forgetful, and you will be overstimulated. I can't tell you how many times I've had clients who tell me that they're just overstimulated, because I deal with a lot of mothers. I deal with a lot of parents in general. So they're overstimulated because they're not getting mental rest. Another type of rest, the third one we're talking about today, is emotional rest. Emotional rest looks like being able to be real and authentic. Okay. A lot of people, I just came from a conference over the weekend that's called Mask Off. A lot of people wear a mask all the time. They have to be happy. They have to be on point. They got to be this. They got to be that. They got to be the strong friend. They got to be all of that, and they're not able to like come down from that. And so the emotional rest again is being authentic. Is saying what you feel, crying if you need to, and you're not performing. A lot of people nowadays are performing, and it's causing them like just unrest in general. It's causing them anxiety. It's causing them depression because they feel like they can't beat themselves. Without emotional rest, you're going to feel emotionally drained. You're going to feel resentful and numb. And here's the thing, here's the sign of not getting enough emotional rest. You have people, when you ask them how they're doing, what do they say? I'm fine. I've said that before. They said they're fine and they're really not fine. Like they still have to show up for people. They still have to pour out to people, but they're not getting poured into because that's a whole different conversation. But they might not trust people enough to allow them to pour into them. So that's a whole different conversation. All right. So the fourth type of rest, social rest. Okay, social rest looks like pulling back from relationships. It looks like spending time with people who fill you up, or sorry, pulling back from relationships that drain you, pulling or getting into spaces where you are being filled up. Social rest looks like being alone without feeling guilty. Now, again, I told y'all, I work a lot with mothers, and one of the things that they do a lot of the times is they feel guilty for being by themselves. Okay, I don't know if that's just a mom thing because I don't hear men talk about that a lot. I do have male clients. I don't hear them talking about that a lot, but I hear a lot of women feeling guilty for being by themselves or being without their children. I was one of them, y'all. I'm not gonna lie to you. When I first started sending my son away, like my parents would take him, I felt so guilty and I did not know what to do with myself. I'm like, okay, like let me go fold his clothes or let me, do something around the house. I wasn't resting, and now he's 13 years old. So now I've learned like, nope, I'm just gonna just chill. I'm okay with being by myself. I'm okay with reading a book. I'm okay with like listening to it's just me. And a lot of people, they are so used to performing. They're so used to having a mask on. They have to be around people to feel seen. They have to be around people to feel like accepted. And when they're alone, they don't know what to do with themselves. And so we do need that social rest. We do need to pull away from people that we're always pouring into, because y'all know the needy people. There's some needy people out here. There's some selfish people out there, and selfish people can be draining. And we have to learn to pull away from those people from time to time and make sure that we're filled up, because we can't fill a cup if we are not filled ourselves. So that's just a thing. So without social rest, you're going to always feel like you're giving and receiving. I talked about that. You're going to feel overstimulated, irritated, or distant. So if you felt like that, like put that in chat, just from the types of rest that we've already talked about. So again, let's see. Again, I have not gone live in a while, so I appreciate y'all's attention right now. So I said social rest. Okay. The other type of rest, sensory rest. And this is huge nowadays. A lot of people are not getting sensory rest because they always have a screen in front of them. And kids even nowadays have a screen always in front of them. So what is sensory rest? What does that look like? That means stepping away from screens, noise, lights, and background chaos. Okay, so how many of us are on our phones for the majority of the day? A lot of people work from home nowadays. How many people are on a screen all the time? They're on a screen for work, They're on a screen for pleasure, watching TV, all that stuff. That creates like a bit of overstimulation. And so we need that shutdown time. Um, we talked about physical rest earlier on, but sensory rest impacts physical rest because of the light always being in our eyes. It tricks our brain to think that it's daytime. So if it's like 10 o'clock at night, what your body does, like for my watch, I have to take this little part out on my watch to adjust the time. That's what happens when you're looking at a screen at 10 o'clock at night. Your body is going to pull the thing out and change the time back like 3 or 4 hours. And so you probably won't get tired until it's 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Okay, so sensory rest can impact your physical rest. All of this stuff can impact your physical rest, but we'll get back into it. So sensory rest, without sensory rest, you might feel anxious, distracted, overstimulated, like I said. And that's a lot of reasons why we can't have, or we're not having the like depth in the relationships that we want to. Like we have a lot of surface level relationships because we're not okay, right? We are overstimulated. We're always giving. Excuse me, okay, Mike. I charged it. I promise I did. We're overstimulated. We are always giving, always doing, and we're not allowed to be. So if we're allowed to be, especially like really speak our minds, then we'll have a level of depth in our relationships. And a lot of people, not all people, but a lot of people don't have that. So I want people to be healthy, like overall. So I think I got, yeah, nope. Yep, one more, two more. So creative rest. Now, when I talked about this in my small group, they didn't know that there was a such thing as creative rest. So what does creative rest look like? It looks like allowing yourself time and space to be inspired. Okay, it's a being in nature, music, art, ideas, dreams, prayers. It helps you to reawaken visions. Now, I just went on a retreat, or not a retreat, a conference over the weekend, and it was in a campsite. I didn't expect that. And so it was a lot of greenery, a lot of like, it was a lake, so peaceful sitting. Like, I have to share a picture. It was so peaceful sitting by that lake. And that was it for me. Like, I had so many downloads while I was in that space, but we don't realize that we need that. Some people, excuse me, live in like a concrete jungle. All they see is gray. Okay. They might see a little blue in the sky, but all they see is gray. All they see is black from, computer screens and all this stuff. We need color. We need that type of stimulation to help us to be creative. And once we get more of that, we'll have better interactions, like for real. And so without creative rest, you could feel dry, you could feel stuck, and you could feel burnt out. You can feel like everything is a chore for you. Now, listen, I'm telling y'all, I was in this space. Like, I don't know if shortly after the pandemic or what, but I was in this space for a little while. And I'm telling you, once we have that creative rest, once we get away and we see like everything around us, we begin to appreciate the beauty around us, we'll be more creative and we will be a creator and not a consumer, because we're all supposed to create and we're all supposed to have something to give to somebody else. So last type of rest is spiritual rest. Okay, what does spiritual rest look like? It looks like prayer, it looks like worship, it looks like being in the presence of God, it looks like reading scripture, it looks like feeling connected to something that's bigger than you. So a lot of people nowadays, especially younger generation people, and I've talked to them in different spaces, most of them are looking to find their purpose. Like, they're just doing, they're very intelligent, they're, very creative, but something feels like it's missing. And it's a connection with something that's bigger than them. It's a connection with God that they're missing. Some of them have not been told about God. Some people don't even believe in God. And even those people, when they have everything that they can ever think to have in this world, they still feel empty and disconnected. That's why you have to be connected to something bigger than you. We are all created from God, whether you want to believe it or not. Hey, that's okay. You can believe what you want to believe, but we are all connected to God, and that means if we're all connected to God, we're connected to each other as well. We're supposed to be helpers one to another. We're supposed to give, and like the Bible says, to give is better to give than to receive. If we're always giving, if everybody's always giving, then we're going to receive in some way because everybody's giving. But if everybody's taking, then the givers are going to feel depleted and the takers are going to be hoarders. Like it's just a bad situation. So, anyway, I got off track. We need spiritual rest. Spiritual rest is rest for the soul. What does it look like when you don't have spiritual rest? You can feel disconnected or lost. You feel like you're striving, purposeless, all of that when you don't have spiritual rest. Okay. Now, I know I started this off with talking about physical rest and sleep and how it is a flex to go to sleep. Let me tell you, it is a flex to go to sleep. You have to protect your sleep. And one way to protect your physical rest in your body is to do all these things. Is to have spiritual rest, is to have creative rest, sensory rest, social rest, emotional rest, mental rest. It's all of that plays a part in your overall well-being. Again, I told you I'm a movement coach. I teach people how to move with less pain. If you can do all of these things, it's going to help your physical body. Okay. Your body's going to have less. Oh, hey, your body's going to have less inflammation. Your heart is going to function like it should. Your brain is going to be less congested. Like I told y'all, your brain can be congested. Your brain will have less congestion. You're going to have all this energy. Food will help with that. We're not talking about food today. Food will be a thing too. But all in all, we need this type of rest. And this could be why some people are feeling exhausted even when they sleep. Like they've had a full night's sleep, mostly uninterrupted, but without these types of rest, without mental rest, without emotional rest, sensory rest, social rest, creative rest, spiritual, without those things, you're still going to feel tired. You're still going to feel drained. It's kind of like having a bucket that you filled up with water, but somewhere there's a hole and you can't find it. This is all of these types of rest plays a part in our overall well-being. And yeah, so we need that to be better. Is my mic? Okay, my mic is still on. Praise the Lord. Like I had a mic and it kept going out, so I have to check every now and then. What does it mean for your brain to be congested? Well, so think about it this way. Your brain has waste just like your body has waste. So when we eat, when we move, and our body processes food and processes stuff, it creates waste in our body. So we have a lymphatic system, and that lymphatic system is like a pump, or it doesn't have a pump, but it's a system like the blood system. The lymphatic system needs you to move for it to work. Okay, so that's a whole different conversation. But our blood system has a pump, which is our heart. Our lymphatic system does not have a pump, but when you move and your muscles contract, it helps your lymphatic system. With the brain, all of that thinking, processing, it does create waste. And our brain pushes off waste in our skull. And so when we sleep, the glymphatic system, not the lymphatic system, but the glymphatic system in the brain, because our bodies have different systems, the glymphatic system starts to work, but it can only work when your body is at rest. That's why we need sleep. When your body is resting, you'll have clear thoughts. Your brain has like different highways. It's called what is it called? Not the neurons. What is that called? Myelin. You have different pathways. So I explain it this way. Say it's wintertime and it's a fresh snow on the ground. With this fresh snow and you are the first person to walk outside, what happens? You create a path. Generally what happens is people are going to walk that same path unless you have kids. They're going to go all over the place. But generally people are going to walk that same path that you walk because they don't want to have their feet deep in the snow. Yes, neural pathways. Thank you. So what happens is when we're thinking a whole bunch, especially as parents, when we got to make all these decisions, we make the decision, but it's creating different types of waste in our brain. And so your brain is either going to make a new pathway or is going to stay in the same lane. So if we're staying in the same lane, that creates a habit. Habits can be hard to break depending on how long you've been doing it. So you have connections, dendrites. Your brain likes to branch off. When you don't branch off, it looks like, no, that ain't right. It looks like that. It looks like that. It's the same thing all the time. But when you do different things, this is why movement is important. I'm not gonna get into that today, but this is why movement is important. When you start moving, it creates different pathways. And so you begin to figure out new ways of doing things. You might see things differently. How you saw it one way, it'll open up and it'll fan out for you, and you'll see it in a different way. So all of that creates waste in your brain. And so your brain needs time to dump that out. When we don't get enough rest, it just stays there. Lymphatic drainage is cool, but it's not going to help the process of the lymphatic system, cleaning the brain. So that's a whole different thing from the lymphatic system. So I hope that answers your question. But yes, that's why, all in all, why rest is important. And I appreciate y'all coming on. I don't even know who all is on here, but thank y'all for coming. Random. It was random. Okay. Don't be mad at me and say I didn't tell you. It was random. Okay. I was trying to make a short video, and it was like, nope, you're going to make a long video. And I'm like, okay, we're going to do this. I have not gone live anywhere in a very long time. Today was not the day because I was still tired. I still feel like I have a hangover from the weekend. That's a whole different conversation. But like I said, we need rest. And if you're not getting rest, it is like you're intoxicated. And now I'm a whole people thinker. So I'm like, how does that impact kids? So we think kids are, slow learning or they're lazy, but it's just because they're not getting enough sleep. And that's crazy when we think about it. And there's other things involved with that, but today is about rest. So I can branch off into any other thing, but we need our children to get rest. We need our spouses, we need everybody to get rest so that we can all function properly. Because a lot of people, and I said this before in a different space, a lot of people don't actually know who they are because they're sleepy, they don't eat enough, and they're not moving. A lot of people don't know who they are. They're not even that person. That person is grumpy. But who are you without being grumpy? Some people don't know that. Some people don't know who they are without being tired. They don't even know what they can do without being bogged down or feeling foggy. So when we take the steps, we're moving, we're getting the rest, we are positively thinking positive, and we're eating well, we might be a whole different type of person. Like that's not even including sugar, and what it does to the brain. Like that's not even including that. I'm not talking about that yet. I don't even know if we'll talk about that on here, but that's a whole different conversation. Sugar, like sugar on the brain, they won't say that, but that's dementia. Most things that we deal with comes from sugar because we're eating a ton more sugar than we need to. Like I don't want to get into this too much because I'm gonna stay on here longer than I want to. Sugar used to be a love, like for rich people. Now everybody gets it, even our children. And you have so much sugar, it's almost like you're banging your head on a wall all day. And think about the damage that it can do to your brain and your thinking. So anyway, nope, not getting into that right now. That's a whole different conversation. But I appreciate you all for coming on this live. For those who catch the replay, hello, I'll see you soon. If you want more information like this, just subscribe. I'll be posting more. I'll be recording more and doing more things on here and on social media platforms altogether. But I would appreciate if you shared it with somebody who needs to know about the different types of rest, because they might not even know about the fact that there are 7 different types of rest. It's not just physical rest, there's other types of rest. So you love people, share with people, Okay. I ain't mean for it to be this long. They can hold the button or change the speed on the recording to make it faster. But I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. I look forward to making more videos and I will talk to you soon. Now I got to figure out how to shut this live off, how to turn it off. Okay. Nope. Wait. All right. I'm getting up here.